Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I thought it would be really fun to sit down and film a makeup tutorial that kind of represents what I want to wear in 2019. I did a similar video last year and you guys seemed to really love it, so I wanted to sit down and do this kind of video again. This time it's going to be a little different because I do have different tastes and I have different wants as far as how I want my makeup to look. So I'm going to be showing you everything that I personally am into right now and just kind of like an everyday makeup look that I feel like will look timeless and classic throughout the entire year. Just like last time, I will also be listing down below an affordable option and a high-end option so that you guys can achieve the same look or a similar look with products either from Sephora or from Walmart. It doesn't really matter. This is mostly about just the effect more than it is about the products themselves, but I will have options down below. So let's just get right into it. I already have my brows on. I used the Benefit Precisely My Brow in the shade 3.5, and then I actually used the Benefit High Brow underneath, and I just feel like it kind of cleaned up my underbrow. Is that a word? But I feel like it looks a little bit nicer. I feel like this year I want to do a little bit better at maintaining my brows because I kind of let them go. There's a lot of stray hairs all around them all the time, so I do want to be a little better about having a more clean brow this year. The first thing that I really want to kind of recommend is sunscreen. So I don't know if I have a favorite sunscreen from the drugstore, but I will show you a couple options. This is the Drunk Elephant Umbra Sheer Physical Daily Defense, and I like to mix in the Drunk Elephant D Bronzy with this. It just kind of helps to make it a little bit more bronze because this one is a physical sunscreen, which means it has zinc in it, which means that it sits on top of the skin, and zinc is kind of known to have a little bit of a white cast, so I do like to add this into it. I also love this underneath makeup. This is the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue Defense, so I alternate between either of those. I think I'm going to do the Drunk Elephant option, so I'll just show you how I use this. I like to take about pea-sized amount of sunscreen, and then I'll take a little bit of this, like a little bit, a tiny bit, since I am very fair. So I do about that ratio when I use this, and then I will just go ahead and mix it in my hands, and it starts to tint it a little bit. The thing that I really like about this as well is it kind of leaves my skin glowing a little bit at the same time as protecting it with sunscreen. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply this all over the skin. So this tutorial is going to be very skin focused. I feel like that's kind of where I'm at right now because I had quite the skin journey this past year, and so my skin has improved quite a bit. I still do have redness and a little bit of acne scarring, but for the most part my texture has really improved, and so I really do want to let my skin kind of shine through more than ever this year because it's in a state where I feel like it can, if that makes sense. So as you can see, it adds a very nice glow. I really love those products. Let's move into foundation. I love both of these foundations equally right now. One's from Physicians Formula, so you can find this at the drugstore. It's the Healthy Foundation, and the other one is at Sephora. This is Wander Beauty Nude Illusion Liquid Foundation. Both of them give a really similar effect. It's got the perfect amount of coverage. You can really build it up if you want to. They last really well throughout the day, and they really just look like skin, which I love. So I was thinking I was going to use this one, but I might like combine the two. Is that crazy? I've never tried that. I honestly love them both equally, so either one of these I would highly recommend. Maybe I'll try mixing them. Kind of has a similar applicator as well. So I'm going to go in with the Physicians Formula one first, and I like to focus on the areas that I have more redness and pigmentation. So I do add a little bit more foundation to the cheeks than I do the center of the face. I'm just going to put about that much on of that foundation, and then let's put a dabble-do of the Wander Beauty foundation just kind of over top. Let's start with that. I'm going to blend this out with the Real Techniques buffing brush. I've been obsessed with this. Over the holidays, I packed this in my makeup bag, or my makeup brushes, I guess. And this is what I used to blend out my foundations. I love it. It's so good. So I'm just going to go ahead and combine the two all over the face using this brush. And I'm just going to keep buffing until it looks nice and blended out. I'm going to make sure to blend down the neck as well. I can't believe that it's 2019, you guys. I feel like I was just prepping for holidays and I was like getting ready for Christmas a few days ago. I guess it was kind of a few days ago, but do you know what I mean? I feel like the holidays just flew by for me. Did you guys have a good holiday? Let me know in the comments. How was Christmas and New Year's? What did you guys do? Did you stay home? Did you travel? Were you with family? Let me know in the comments. I put a little bit of the Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation onto my Thrive Cosmetics sponge, and I'm just going to use this to add a little more coverage over the cheeks as well as press in the existing foundation because I love using a sponge after a brush. brush for a more skin-like finish. Tylen and I visited his family for New Year's and for Christmas as well. It was really fun. Since we don't have any kids yet, we kind of alternate families, if that makes sense. So my family was last year and then his family was this year. And so yeah, we were with his family. It was really, really fun. All right, the skin is looking pretty good and pretty healthy. Obviously, if you guys want to, I realized I forgot to tell you this. If you want to have an even more radiant base, I've been loving the Laura Mercier Radiance Primer. There's also one from Physicians Formula as well. You're welcome to add that before foundation if you want to. I just forgot to. And also if you're running late, you might want to skip that step and just go from sunscreen right into foundation. I wanted to quickly mention this tutorial is kind of on days where you woke up on time, you know, like this is going to take a little bit of time. If for some reason you're in a time crunch, I would definitely recommend having the Bare Minerals Original Foundation just to buff all over the skin. That is going to be the fastest way I found to get a really radiant, beautiful finish on the skin. If you still need coverage in the morning or you need something to last all day, this is amazing for that. So I just wanted to mention that. Okay, for concealer, I'm going to be using the Bare Minerals Bare Skin Serum Concealer. I have been loving this for every day. It's just a really nice consistency. It's really lightweight. If you need something that's going to be even more long lasting, I would go with the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Concealer, or from the drugstore, the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer. Those are really good for more of a long lasting wear. But again, I want something fresh and glowy, so I'm going to use this. And I'm just going to take that same sponge that we were using before, and I'm going to go ahead and blend everything out underneath the eyes. And I also like to put a little bit down the center of the face and around the nose if there's any redness. And you can also spot conceal with concealer as well. Just make sure if there's a blemish, you want to make sure that your concealer matches your foundation and that it's not brighter for underneath the eye area. Otherwise, it will emphasize the texture and will give your blemish away even more. So just keep that in mind if you do have spot concealing to do. Let's go ahead and set the under eyes. I'm going to be using the Lawless Seal the Deal Loose Setting Powder. And I'm just going to go ahead and press this underneath the eyes. I'm also going to set the eyelids really quickly with that. And then I'm going to take a bigger brush, just in that same powder, and I'm really going to press it in mainly in the T-zone because that's where I tend to get a little bit more oily throughout the day. So to make sure that it really lasts in those areas, I do focus the powder in the T-zone. But I do also set the outer portions as well just because I have redness. I still think that you can achieve a radiant look even if you do set your entire face, and I'll show you how I've been doing that. Because for me, longevity matters. Like if I'm going to be doing my makeup on an everyday basis, it's got to be products that are going to last for me. And for me, that means setting my whole face, but you don't have to sacrifice the glowy or dewy look by setting your whole face, and I'll show you right now how I like to kind of combat that and bring back the radiance. I'm going to go into the Laura Mercier Candle Glow Sheer Perfecting Powder. I asked you guys recently what a good drugstore option of a powder like this would be. A lot of you said something about a Milani powder. I have not yet picked that up. I have not yet tested it, but I want to really badly. This is the one that I've been using. I just love it because I like to use the exact same brush that I used with the Lawless Translucent Setting Powder, and I just buff this over the skin. It's not going to be anything too crazy, but what it does is it still keeps that powdery finish. It locks down your makeup, but it brings back that radiance and that life and really helps to make your skin look more like skin. I'm just going to brush up the brows really quick. Sometimes after I powder, I feel like they lose a little bit of shape if I did them before. Let's finish up the complexion and then we'll move into eyes. I really wanted to use this. I've been using this like crazy the past couple weeks, you guys. It's the Becca Chloe and Malika palette. This is the one that Chloe made, I believe. Yes. So this is Chloe's palette. There is another palette that Malika made that has some more deep tones in it. So if you do have a more medium to deep skin, I would recommend that. But for light to medium, this one would work really well for you. So I've just been obsessed with this because it has bronzer, blush, and highlighter in it. Obviously, I will give you guys more options for similar kind of products that are at the drugstore, but I really wanted to kind of showcase this one because I've been in love with it. I love how it's all in one. It's so beautiful. I can't wait to show you guys how this looks on the skin. So I'm going into the bronzer first, and this bronzer has a tiny bit of a sheen to it. I love Becca bronzers for that reason, and I feel like this is another way to really add that glow back in, even though I've powdered the skin. If you start to use powdered products that leave a glowy finish, that allows it to look more and more like skin. So I'm just going to go ahead and start to warm up the complexion with this, and you can already see how it's bringing life back to the skin, and it's also got a little bit of a sheen to it, which I love. So I'm just going to put this all over the perimeters of the face. I love to put it right in the hairline. I feel like that kind of warms up everything and brings a lot of life back to the skin. It also looks more natural if it's like actually going into the hairline, because that's how it looks when you get a tan on your forehead. It's going into the hairline a little bit. Just bringing that down the neck and along the chin. I'm going to take it down the sides of my nose a little bit, under the lip. A good drugstore option, you guys, is the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Bronze It Bronzer. This is another bronzer that kind of adds warmth. You're able to sculpt with it, but it does have a tiny bit of a sheen to it, which adds back in that radiance. I'm just going to take that brush that we used with the translucent powder and finishing powder and buff it across the cheeks. I like to do this because if for some reason any bronzer looks streaky at all, and even if it doesn't, I still like to do this because it makes it look more natural and more seamless, less makeup-y and more skin-like. Going into that exact same palette, I've been enjoying mixing the two shades of blushes. The thing I really like about these blushes is, again, they add that radiance back. There's several blushes from the drugstore, like this CoverGirl one. There's also the Milani Baked blushes that will do the exact same thing for you. So I'm just gonna do that. I'm just gonna mix both, smile a little bit, and add this to the apples of the cheeks, and then brush it back. And if you're in a rush, you don't even need highlighter. If you don't have time, using a radiant blush kind of helps kill two birds with one stone. It adds that glow to your cheeks and saves a lot of time. I am going to add highlighter though because I love a good glowy complexion. So that looks like I am going to buff it down again with that brush just because I tend to get a little heavy-handed with my blush. I love blush, that's why, but that'll just really help kind of make it melt into the skin a little bit more. And then for highlight, I'm just gonna take this one, but I do have another few options that I want to tell you about just in case, because again, you can achieve this look using any product. You don't need this palette specifically. I'm just going to take the highlighter that's in this palette though, and I'm going to start to buff that on the skin. I like to work in lighter layers, and the first layer that I do, I like to kind of take a little bit further out, if that makes sense, so that it kind of, how do I explain this? I do a little bit more highlighter, okay, so the first layer has less product, but it goes across a lot more of the skin, so that when you turn the head, you have a lot of glow. But then I go back in with a little bit more, and I focus it more on just the high part of the face. That way you avoid the stripe highlighter look, and you get more of an all-over glow while still defining the highest point of the face. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I've been doing. If you have questions about it, if it didn't make sense, comment down below, but that's the best way I could explain it. I'm also going to take some down the center of the nose. I love to apply highlighter right here. And I don't take my nose highlight all the way down because that makes my nose look longer, so I just stop it about right there. I'm also going to apply it to the Cupid's bow. We have a nice radiant complexion. Let's move into eyes, and then we will go ahead and touch up the skin after. You guys know I love to do that. For eyes for 2019, to be honest, I've been doing a very similar look to what I did in my everyday makeup tutorial for 2018. This year, I'm dipping into more ethereal colors, and what I mean by that are like pastel pinks and purples, and I just feel like I'm going to continue to do that this year, so that's what I wanted to show you. There are several different palettes that will allow you to get the same kind of look. One of them is the Norvina palette. As you can see, you have those pastel purples and pinks. In this palette, you can also make some warm toned classic looks. I've also been dipping into the Natasha Denona Safari palette, specifically this shade right here. It's so beautiful. You could also pick up a single shadow like this one from Nabla. This one right here is called Poetry. They also have some other like pink shades. This is from their mattes collection. You guys have seen me use this one a ton of times, the Temptress palette from Profusion. They have those pastels in there as well. And then Nabla does have another palette called the Soul Blooming palette that allows you to get that same kind of color palette, if that makes sense. So lots of options. Again, it's not necessarily about the exact product as it is like the shade of shadow. Does that make sense? I think I'm going to use the Norvina palette today because I've been using the Profusion one quite a bit, but you could definitely recreate this look using the Profusion palette if you have it. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with Soul, which is that kind of lavendery shade. I'm going to make sure to tap off the extra, and I'm going to start to buff this on the outer corner of the eye, and then I work it into the crease a little bit. It's honestly shocking how much I love these kinds of colors. You seriously could not have paid me 5 years ago to dip into shadows like this, but once you wear them, I feel like you see how truly wearable these are. You guys, this tutorial obviously is meant to be just an inspiration to you guys. This is what I prefer to wear right now, but if this is not your thing, if you do not like these colors on you, wear your favorite color of eyeshadow. I'm going to take the same brush, pinch it, and move it across the lower lash line to kind of define that a little bit with the same shade, and I make sure to connect it to the existing shadow on the top lid. I'm pretty sure the color of the year this year is like coral, so this is definitely not a coral look, but that's okay. Also, if you find yourself running late for any reason this year and you don't have time for eyeshadow, just throw some bronzer in the crease, pop on mascara, and you're good to go. Also, another resolution of mine is going to be to wash my makeup brushes more because, oh, I really need to wash them way more than I do. I'm gonna dip into this pink shade called Love. We're gonna add a little bit more warmth to the eyes, so I'm just going to go ahead and start to press that kind of on the center of the lid, layering it right over top of that purple shade that we just applied. And I feel like that's going to add a little bit more warmth, like I said before. If you guys don't want to wear purples on your eyes every day, definitely just dip into like a pink shade like this. That will kind of give you the same ethereal look. It'll be a little bit more wearable if you don't find this to be wearable in your opinion. For me, I love wearing these colors, but just keep that in mind. Just like adjust this to whatever works best for you guys. I'm just going off of my personal taste. You guys probably could have guessed that this was going to be in there. I'm going to go ahead and dip into my Bodyography glitter pigment in the shade Sparkler. I'm somebody who wears glitter on an everyday basis. Even if I'm running late, I'll put bronzer through the crease. Sometimes I'll even add some glitter on the eyes, some mascara, and I'm still good to go. This is going to look a little bit more ethereal glam every day. Does that make sense? Anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and press this onto just the inner portion of the lid, and it's going to just add so much life to the eyes. I love glitter. I wear it every single day. I wear it in the daytime. I don't even care. Of course, glitter is a way to amp up any look for the evening, but why not wear it in the daytime? Especially when it's this kind of a champagne color. You can really wear it with any sort of eyeshadow color. To me, that just completes the eyeshadow. I'm going to go right into mascara. I love a good voluminous lash. I'm looking for my L'Oreal Lash Paradise mascara because that is like one of my all-time favorites for achieving like that vavoom eyelash look. I also love the By Terry Lash Expert Twist Brush Mascara. Gives a very similar effect. Guys, I'm so sorry. I was really planning on using that L'Oreal mascara for this video. It disappeared on me. But I like to twist the brush from this By Terry one for the top lashes, and it just gives me such a beautiful voluminous lash look. So I'm going to go ahead and apply mascara. I am not shy with mascara, even in the daytime, even if I'm not wearing eyeshadow. I always feel like for me, bold lashes really make you look awake and alive. So I always do a nice voluminous lash, no matter what. I'm just going to go ahead and keep applying this, and I'm going to layer it up. I'll probably do about 2 to 3 coats on the top lashes and 1 to 2 coats on the bottom. And then I just untwist the mascara wand for the lower lashes. I'm just going to add a little bit of blush back onto the cheeks because now that the eyes are done, I do want a little bit more color on the cheeks. I'm going to go ahead and wipe away any foundation that's on the lips. And for lips in 2019, I never thought I would say this, but I want to go glossy and kind of balmy and kind of fuss-free with the lips. I find myself on an everyday basis kind of going for a tinted lip balm, a lip gloss, a lip liner with lip balm on top versus like a liquid lipstick these days, just because in reality, when I'm going throughout my day, I like to have something that I can reapply and not worry about it looking funny. And I feel like especially since I'm filming this in the winter time right now, I can't really wear liquid lipsticks right now. So I'm going to go ahead and do a really nice hydrated look using a couple products. I'm going to use this lip liner from Thrive Cosmetics. It's in the shade Gizlon, and I'm going to go ahead and line the lips with this. And I do like to kind of fill in the lips as well. And I'm actually going to layer up my lip sleeping mask from Laneige. You could top off any lip liner with lip balm, with a gloss. I love the Fenty Beauty glosses. I love the Glossier lip gloss. It's one of like the glossiest glosses of all time. That was a lot of gloss. But anyway, I'm just going to use this because I really need some extra hydration today. And this will really do the trick. I'm going to add a little bit more bronzer from that palette because we always like to step back and assess the situation. I love these colors so much, you guys. I think we're good on all the other products, so I'm going to go ahead and set the face. And I'm going to use my 3-step setting routine. So we start off with Smashbox Primer Water. Just spray it all over the face. I'm going to use my fan and then lightly press down with my sponge to really bring back that skin-like finish again. Just melts all the products together. So I normally use the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. I just ran out of it, so I don't have one on hand. I'm just gonna use the Urban Decay Chill Setting Spray, but my 3-step setting routine does include the All Nighter. That one's gonna make your makeup last all day, so I will have it linked down below. This is just like another Urban Decay setting spray, so I'm gonna use this. I haven't actually tried this one out too much, so maybe I'll like it. I'm just gonna spray that on top. And do the same thing. And then as always, we take my Rimmel Stay Matte Translucent Powder And this is so perfect for mattifying specific areas. So I like to do it around my nose because that tends to break up throughout the day on me. My chin, my smile lines, and the center of the forehead. Let's go ahead and set the brows. I'm going to use my Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter. This is just the go-to for me. I love it. It keeps my brows so nice and feathery all day long. I can't live without this. Oh, I almost forgot. I'm going to dip into that highlighter shade in this Becca palette and pop it in the inner corner of the eye. It makes such a difference to every eye look, so we can't forget it. And I'm going to take what's left on the brush and just pop it right underneath the highest point of the brow to really lift the brow and make it pop. Well, you guys, there you have it. That is my final everyday makeup for 2019. I know that it might be a little bit intimidating for you with these purples and these pinks, but for me, truly, I do wear these colors on an everyday basis, and I'm so excited to continue to wear them throughout the year. I love ethereal, glam, yet still natural wearable looks, and I feel like this is exactly that. So I hope you guys like it as much as I do. Again, if you're not into these pink and purple eyeshadows, you can use your exact warm tones that you've been using, and you can create a very simple everyday look that you can wear all year round. So thanks so much for watching, you guys. I hope you had an amazing holiday. Happy New Year again. I can't wait to see what 2019 has in store for us. I can't wait to keep creating videos for you guys. I have a lot of stuff planned and I'm so excited about it. Also, if there's anything that you want to see in 2019, please comment that down below. Whether it's something new that you want to see, something that you want to see more of on my channel, let me know in the comments because I always want to be creating content that you guys want to see. So please don't hesitate to leave your recommendations down below. If you're new here, hi, my name is Allie and I love makeup. I would love to have you join the family. You can do so by hitting the subscribe button, and you can be a part of the notification squad by clicking on the bell after you subscribe, and you'll be notified on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays when I post my videos. I love you all so much. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Love you. Bye!